Welcome back to the Overwatch League. The San Francisco Shock take the lead in the series after that great defensive effort on Temple of Anubis. But you look at these teams, it hasn't exactly been the cleanest affair as far as the Overwatch we've been seeing tonight. But Shock able to at least come up big in this defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a stat night for Monty, guys.
the way I feel about it is that the Spark have been given some really good opportunities to win on their attack rounds, and they spend so much time running around in circles, not doing anything, that they're unable to capitalize on these really, really huge advantages that they have, and it's been weird.
I mean, it's not so weird actually. If you think about the team names themselves, you've got Spark and Shock. They're just like positive and negative, you know, just kind of circling around each other. It's just science, Monty.
It's just science. They actually can't fight each other. They're just repelling each other like two magnets.
Pretty much, yeah. I was an art major. Don't question me on these things. There you go. Well, let's take a look at the Diva matchup from that last one. It was Rhea versus Nevix, of course. And Nevix coming up with quite a few, I believe, eating two Graviton Surges at the end of that last map, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, this has been obviously quite strange. I think Rhea has had some really good self-destruct combos in combination with Godspeed's Graviton Surge.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Moth hasn't been on point with the sound barrier timings, which I feel like has really caused a lot of these kills to happen. He's been sound burying super early in a lot of these fights, so that by the time the self-destruct comes in, the overshield is almost worn off because it does tick down over time.
So from Rio in our last match to Rhea in this one, if these two teams ever play each other, it's going to be a problem. But for now, Spark needs to find a way to tie this series up. And again, you know, the big theme for Hangzhou Spark coming into the series was which Spark are we going to see, right? And I feel like I was expecting we were going to see either good Spark or bad Spark. We're seeing just kind of like indecisive Spark in this one. It's kind of like this third version we've never encountered before, where I just kind of walk around points without really ever doing anything.
I feel like we're seeing pretty good defensive Spark combined with awful offensive Spark.
It's a weird
It's
night,
really
man.
weird.
I don't know. Let's take a look at some substitutions. It's going to be Choi Hyobin coming back in, subbing in for Nevix at the flex tank role.
I still haven't figured out San Francisco Shock's subbing strategy. When Nevix plays, when Choi Hyobin plays.
You got people back there rolling a dice.
Equally, Revenge coming in for Bebe. I still haven't figured out how Spark is using these two support players and what exactly they bring to the team.
Well, we'll find out. Bezzy back in for Adora. Now, they played a lot more Bezzy in their matches here than Adora so far.
I think Bezzy makes sense because this, at least when we go to Route 66, has a level of flexibility on it.
True.
Where you could see Bezzy playing some other things. That one I get. Sure. Revenge, I think, has been pretty consistently a downgrade over Bebe. And for the Shock, I mean, here we have Rascal in for this entire match, apparently, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever because they've spent all of their matches this season grooming Architect in order to play the Brigitte role, and Architect is a very, very, very flexible player himself. So if you're not going to use any Rascal specialist heroes like the Pharah, why are you playing Rascal in this match?
I mean, don't get us wrong. Rascal is also known for his flexibility in the DPS role. So, but like you said, if they're not going to actually have him do that, then why swap him out?
Right. When you already have Architect on that Brigitte, and you've been playing at a very high level with Architect on the Brigitte.
Yeah. All right, well, as you're getting some free shots, just right down the train car, right through the Reinhardt shield. Into the Zarya shield, gotta be careful there. Has to back away now, and Moth down. Revenge gets him with the Sonic Arrow. Can you see me now? Sinatra takes out Godsby as well. IDK manages to get the res, actually, so this Bastion is still in action, and Shock may have to run here.
I mean, they got the Orisa, though, so they're going to be fine in the end. It's still going to be a 5 versus 4 here for the Shock. Well, not anymore.
That's a brave thing, Godsby. Yep. As he gets two.
Wow.
Here we go. That's why you put this guy back in. This is why you put this guy back in.
There you go. That's why you put him in, because you have a different plan. Now, that is a fight that should have been won by the Shock, but Bezzy turns it on its head with the Widowmaker by getting the pickoffs that allow the rest of his teammates to respawn and run back to the formation. So it was looking great for the Shock before Bezzy started clicking on heads.
Wow, they're just going to send the Dragon Strike right through the cart. They're making sure that Shock has to turn back around again.
It's a delay tactic, and
great delay.
You know, the Shock are going to try and break this with a triple tank, triple support, but this is hard to approach this high ground.
I mean, that Coalescence does a lot of damage. Gosby in trouble here. Super just runs in and knocks him off with a hammer. No Smite does take out Rascal, who is pretty far forward yet again. IDK once more manages to get the Mercy res, and that's going to let Gosby use his Bastion ultimate right now. It's a lot of damage going into Shock. They need to back out. Oh, but he gets stunned in return by Super's Earthshatter. Manages to just barely live long enough to jump back into turret form, but doesn't really get any damage done. Meanwhile, that Dragon Strike absorbed by Choyobin. Spark in trouble, and finally, Shock get that payload really moving.
We'll generously call Sinatra's Graviton Surge a zoning grab there, because it did, in fact, zone out the Bastion in the tank mode from trying to mow down the rest of the team. That is a generous description of it.
Fair enough. You're so kind.
But they're still going to be coming in with a little bit of a difficulty. Violet had the only ultimate up, but that Coalescence cuts through those barriers and got them the first kill.
Revenge going to be looking for some as he's first to fall in this fight. There goes Moth, though. Now Violet nearly up to another Coalescence again on this Moira. Spark have to find a way to drop down onto this. No Smite with a very low amount of health here. It's going to be tough to make it happen. Self-destruct catches Godsby in the back, and you're not going to win a lot of fights when your Zarya dies first, as we've seen so far in the Overwatch League this year, and that will be a fight going to Shock. They're going to finish point A.
Yeah, Shock looking a lot more decisive on this attack round than we've seen so far. Finally going to be moving up onto some high ground here with a heavy ultimate advantage. And after that swap, Hangzhou held on for a little bit there, but now they've had to reset their ults by changing out all of their heroes. So Shock should have a relatively easy ride here through the first part of point B.
And when you look at Route 66, generally B is going to be your easiest point in this map. It's really A and C that give you the most trouble as the attacker. Sinatra, though, lurking, ready to descend from the heavens with that Graviton Surge. That's exactly what he's going to do. Oh, they are all over him. Woo.
I mean,
that was horrifying.
The Graviton Coalescence combo is pretty strong, Doa, because you can have those barriers. You can try and block it with a Reinhardt shield, but it just won't do anything at all. Cuts through your entire team while they're clustered up.
Base jumping does not look as fun as it looks on some of the videos I've seen. I don't know.
Well, you have to wear a special suit for that.
Oh, that's the
I wouldn't recommend doing it without it.
I see where he did it wrong now. Got it.
But you know, there's no fall damage in Overwatch, so.
Well, sometimes, unless you fall off the edge. There's no coming back from that. Spark has a lot of ultimates coming into this next defensive fight. We'll see if Shock can keep pushing here. Bezzy and No Smite, the front line there. It's going to be the rally coming in for both sides. Sinatra just bouncing up and down on top of the payload, doing a lot of damage on that Zarya. They're going to actually get the Transcendence out from Revenge. That's a little bit surprising here. Now the grab comes in. Self-destruct gets Sinatra. Another great displacement comes in and gives him a kill out of that one. Now No Smite has to respond with his own Earthshatter. They're going to take him out with Choyobin's self-destruct, though. Didn't have the shield up in the right place. And Super chasing down Rhea. Not even pausing to put a quarter in the jukebox and get some nice tunes on. He's only out for blood and point taken.
Wow, this was a crazy fight that should have been won by the Spark, but they used a lot of their support ultimates early.
Super early, yeah.
And Shock disengaged from their Transcendence. And again, it was a D.Va self-destruct equalizing thing that then forced Godspeed to use the Graviton Surge to try and clean it up.
Yeah.
So Hangzhou Spark invests a crazy amount of ultimates, 5 ults, and get really not a whole lot for it.
Yeah, all they have right now is going to be the Earthshatter for No Smite, and you're going to need a bit more than that. I think probably he uses it. They don't get a lot out of it. Now the Graviton Surge in response from Shock. That's going to mean the end of Bezzy. They're going to respond. Another kill on the No Smite there, and Sinatra so charged up, so much damage being done again, and no hope for Spark in winning this fight. They are cruising through Route 66.
Yeah, Sinatra here already at 27% of his team's damage dealt, and it's been all San Francisco. 28 limbs to just 9 from the Spark. Yeah. So they've been rolling through this pretty convincingly, and outside of that first push, Hangzhou have hardly gotten anything at all.
Yeah, the Spark in a lot of trouble now. Super with another Earthshatter locked and loaded. That payload is nearly there, too. Spark needs to make something happen.
I mean, they need to stop this.
I don't know. I don't know how you do. They're going to need to get some kills in a hurry here. They got the grab. They're going to need to turn this into something. They do get Moth. That's a good start. Now the Zen ultimates come out. They're gonna push Spark back again. Moth gets caught, but here's the grab. Self-destruct, any defense? Not for Godsby, he's down. Bezzy in trouble as well. Gets knocked out with the Earth Shattering, gets killed by Choyobin. Now Super gets the healing armor pack just in time as they push forward onto the remainders of Spark. Spark do have the respawn advantage right now, but IDK falls so quickly. I don't know about this. No Smite uses the Earth Shatter. No stuns for him. Rhea just trying to buy time on the point. Now it's a matter of draining the time bank because it looks like Shock are gonna finish it in just a second. IDK gets the Zarya shield. That's only gonna last so long. It does last long enough though for No Smite to come out. That's it. Shock finishes with 105 in the time bank. That is a great finish on Route 66 for these guys.
You know, if I've been impressed by one thing from the Shock today, it's their willingness to commit when they've already lost a player and keep these fights going.
Yeah.
They have a lot of confidence that, say, Sinatra died first, he's going to come onto Sombra and get back there for the end of the fight. Again, that was an engagement where they started at a disadvantage, and yet they still closed the map on that push.
Well, it's also their ability, too, to use those ultimate combos to get multiple kills. So if you lose somebody early, like a Lucio, who can get back to the fight faster than nearly anybody, if you can return the favor with a couple ultimate kills, albeit you need a lot of confidence to do that, you can equalize, and Shock has been pretty decent at doing that so far.
Shock has also been good at trading one ultimate for two. And what I mean by that is they're going to force the Graviton and self-destruct combo from the Spark.
Sure.
And when that comes in, they'll shoot out their own self-destruct, and they've been trading kills that way while investing fewer resources. So we haven't seen a lot of combos from the Shock, as many as from the Spark, because they've been offsetting their self-destruct with their Graviton Surge, but because they're able to at least go even and sometimes even win those engagements, it's been pretty effective.
Well, it may just mean the difference between winning the series right now for San Francisco or going to that map 5. Now it's Spark's turns to attack. They've got a mark set for them, 105 in the time bank for Shock. We'll see how fast they can do it. Bezzy on that Widowmaker. We'll see if he takes a shot or two before swapping. He may just stay on it too. Maybe we're gonna see something a bit funky come out for Shock here, or Spark. Shock plus Spark is Shark, by the way.
The most electric of animals, of course.
Or Spock if you go the other way too. Yeah.
All right, so are they going to change things? IDK on the okay, they're going to high ground teleport.
Ooh, I like it. The Symmetra coming out. Send everybody up there, then the swap over to Lucio. Just going to try to take that defensive position early.
I'm not sure that actually did anything, but it was cool.
I mean, it's kind of like, surprise, we're here. You could have just walked up there. I mean, it does get them up onto that that high ground and lets them fight from the high ground advantage.
Yeah, but they're just poking, like there's not actually payload movement. Didn't give them a fantastic positional edge.
Now Violet does kill Revenge too, so in the end, the fight does seem to be going the way of the San Francisco Shock. And you know, maybe what Obi-Wan said about the high ground isn't true after all. Who knew? Worked for him. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody else.
No, definitely is not working for the Hangzhou Spark. Cute strat doesn't end up with any tangible benefit. Sinatra now going to be nice and charged up for this next engagement. He should be able to pick up that first Graviton Surge of the game. Actually, Godsby is like just farming Choi Hyobin's mech right now, so never mind.
Ooh, all right, her shadow goes down, but they lose Super. Whoa. That Violet not quite getting the Transcendence there in time to save his Reinhardt. Now everybody has to run. Well, that was a bit of a mistake there.
Godsby just ran up that train car onto the high ground and lasered Choi Hyobin's mech, which gave them the faster Graviton Surge. Super thought he was safe. How could he possibly have a Graviton Surge before Sinatra does? Well, there's the reason. He almost demech'd Choi Hyobin, so a bit of a positional error there from Shock, and they pay for it.
Sometimes those tanks end up being a big alt battery. Sinatra wanting to return the favor. A lot of damage from the high ground. Drops in with his own Graviton Surge. Self-destruct time. Nice boop. There goes Bezzy. And Spark down a support already. Shock trying to finish off this fight, but it looks like Spark already pulling back. Just going to burn through some of the shield there, and Sinatra trying to just recharge. Hello.
They're trying to, of course, Sinatra always waving in the game.
Very friendly.
What a friendly player he is. But
depends on what kind of wave that is. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Looks mean to me. Spark on the attack again. Ooh, they've got Super really low. Has to retreat. Godsby up on the high ground. Can't quite use the Graviton there. They need to be able to reply to it or respond to it, get some kills off of it.
You can see Shock is really afraid because they know Hangzhou's up at 6 ults basically right now.
Pretty much. They should be afraid.
Yeah, and this is where you want to defend because you can stop the payload while standing on the high ground. So it's the perfect place for Shock to force some ultimates out, buy some time.
There we go, grab on the outside of the wall, pulling people in. Self-destruct thrown in over the top, trying to bounce people at the end, but the sound barrier there just in time. It
Very
does
nice.
mean that Rhea will be taken out on the way out too. Sound barrier for Spark, not saving their diva, who is demeched, trying to get that self-destruct kill. There's a grab, Sinatra going crazy. Look at the damage. They're gonna throw him in there, IDK down as well. And that is not the mine shaft you want to be in if you are Shock.
Not at all, Doa, but really credit.
Be,
Moth actually hit the sound barrier perfectly right there. And meanwhile, Choi Hyobin identified that, as you say, the diva was demeched because of the self-destruct, went and just killed Rhea. It was a really good play by Choi Hyobin and Moth.
And this series might end right here. Spark, they're down to their last 10, 12 seconds remaining. Just to take point A, they might get Phil held again. Moth on high, as you'd find Moths be oftentimes. And the boop, sending the Reinhardt away. Oh, and that opened up a bigger shatter. Choi Hyobin throws in the self-destruct as well. Brutal combo for Shock. That's how you get it done. Rhea nearly demeched. He has to flee. And it is not looking good for Spark. They need a big fight turnaround, and you're not going to get it by losing your diva. Looks like it's all Shock right now. Violet charging into the Transcendence to let his team go forward onto the rest of Hangzhou. There goes no smite, no more Reinhardt, and no more chance, in this caster's opinion, for Hangzhou Spark to get that payload. They don't. And that's going to be a 3-1 victory for San Francisco Shock.
Well, that was a flashy finish to that. Moth with a couple huge plays, perfectly timed sound barrier. Next play, and he just is going to set up the self-destruct combo after the Earth Shatter.
Dude, I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, this meta, I said this earlier in the day, but one of my favorite things about it is seeing the plays the Lucios can make. Moth showing us that in spades, man. Getting that crucial bump onto the Reinhardt, popping up in the air, allowing that Earth Shatter to go through, set up the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, watching the Lucio players is one of the most important things you can do because they're often just riding walls up on the high ground, waiting for somebody to come through a choke point.
What's a perfect map
They'll
for
fall down and then just knock somebody out of the way to set up a combo or to push a tank into the enemy team to get a quick kill.
And we see it a lot. And that's the play that ends up winning the day for San Francisco Shock. A 3-1 victory over Hangzhou Spark. And now let's send it down to Danny, who has Super with him, to chat a bit about that match.
That is right, everybody. Give it up for San Francisco Shock. I am here with Super. Congratulations on the win. Now, with today's win, your path to playoffs seems very likely, but you do have a tough schedule up ahead. How important is it for San Francisco Shock and for you personally to make it into the stage playoffs?
So as a team, we feel like we improved greatly over the offseason. So we wanted to make it a goal of ours to make stage playoffs and make the overall playoffs. So hopefully we can make it work.
I'm sure that'll work. You guys could do it. I believe in you, right, guys? Do you guys believe in San Francisco Shock? And also today, we've seen some great Rhyme plays from you. If you could actually rank yourself in the Overwatch League as a Rhyme player, where would you put yourself as?
So, I watched Watchpoint this morning. Zoe wanted to call me super bad. I don't appreciate that very much. But I think I'm definitely one of the top Rhymes in the league for sure.
Blizzard Arena, do you guys agree? Yeah? I agree too. Well, that's all I have. Back to you guys, casters.
All right, thank you, Danny. Yeah, I think you can't call this guy super
Hey,
bad.
I
He
said
did super well in some of them.
I said to give him some McLovin when they called him super
I
bad.
think the fans will do just
I think
that.
he's good.
Well, here's our standings now. Shock jumps up to a tie in 8th place with Guangzhou Charge. Meanwhile, Spark down to 15th. The Mighty have fallen. After a great first 2 games, they have lost 3 straight. And so questions abound for the Hangzhou Spark. Thanks for watching tonight, guys. Don't miss the Watchpoint post-show coming up after this. Thank you, Disney Channel XP audience, for tuning in. See you guys on Sunday. We'll see the rest of you on Watchpoint.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.